Chapter 2. A Man Trying to Change. Mark had just come home after 6 years in prison for murder. Those 6 years taught him discipline, patience, and how quickly life could be taken away. In prison, he wrote plans, pages of them, about the man he wanted to be when he got out. And when he came home, he followed those plans exactly. He worked. He stayed clean. He stayed focused. Most of all, he stayed devoted to his son. Rochelle wanted Mark back the moment she saw he had changed. But Mark wasn't blind anymore. "I'm here for my son," he told her plainly. Nothing else. Chapter 2. A Man Trying to Change. Mark had just come home after 6 years in prison for murder. Those 6 years taught him discipline, patience, and how quickly life could be taken away. In prison, he wrote plans, pages of them, about the man he wanted to be when he got out. And when he came home, he followed those plans exactly. He worked. He stayed clean. He stayed focused. Most of all, he stayed devoted to his son. Rochelle wanted Mark back the moment she saw he had changed. But Mark wasn't blind anymore. "I'm here for my son," he told her plainly. Nothing else. And he meant it. Chapter 3. Rochelle's Double Life. Rochelle was beautiful. Everyone agreed on that. A real baddie with a soft smile and a dangerous edge. Sweet when she wanted to be, ruthless when crossed. She loved attention, especially from married men. Her favorite line was, "I can bring them down." If a man crossed her, she didn't argue. She threatened wives, families, silence bought with money or expensive gifts. That dark side never left her. Chapter 4. The Washingtons. Mr. and Mrs. Washington had been married for 22 years. They traveled, owned 2 successful businesses, and were preparing to open a third in Baltimore, Maryland. Both worked as middle school teachers and were respected in their field. They were the perfect couple, until 2022. That was the year Mrs. Washington felt something shift. Late nights, short answers, a distance she couldn't explain. Her instincts were right. Chapter 5. Secrets at School. Mark and Rochelle eventually got back together, rebuilding what looked like a happy family, at least in Mark's mind. What he didn't know was that Rochelle was living a double life. She had been in a secret relationship with Deshaun's teacher, Mr. Washington, for 2 years. Mark didn't find out right away. It started with a phone call, late, around 11 at night. The phone rang. Rochelle didn't answer. That night, Mark didn't sleep. The next morning, he dropped Deshaun off at school and walked into the office. "Does a teacher named Mr. Washington work here?" he asked. The secretary called for him. 5 minutes passed, then 10. Instead, Mrs. Washington appeared. "He's under the weather," she said. "He won't be in today." Mark nodded and turned to leave, but Mrs. Washington walked beside him. At the door, she paused, looked him in the eyes, and said quietly, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" Then she walked away. Mark called out from work that day. Chapter 6. Confirmation. Mark rented a car and parked 2 doors down from his house. Rochelle's car wasn't home. "I'm tripping," he told himself. Trying to prove himself wrong, he bought red and white roses and waited outside her job. Her coworkers came out one by one, avoiding his eyes. Then he saw it. A blue car parked near his home. Rochelle stepped out of it and got into her own car. That was all the confirmation he needed. Chapter 7. Playing Along. Mark followed the car just long enough, then called his brother. "Follow him," Mark said. "I'm sharing my location." After that, Mark went back to being normal. Picked up his son, ate dinner, hugged Rochelle like nothing happened. Inside, something dark was settling in. For months, Mark played his role, smiling, laughing, pretending, but it ate at him. One night, lying beside her, he said, "I think we should go our separate ways." Rochelle panicked. She searched his phone while he slept, found nothing. But the fear stayed. Chapter 8. The Lie That Started a War. Rochelle told Mr. Washington the truth, but twisted it. "My baby's father knows about us," she said. "He plans on killing you." That lie sealed everything. Mark left quietly, took his things, left a letter explaining he was choosing himself, for the first time. Rochelle cried when she read it. I messed up, she whispered. Chapter 9. The Threat. Mark didn't know about the lie. When he went to pick up Deshaun from school, Mr. Washington looked him dead in the eyes. You're not ready for this type of war, he said. Mark laughed it off, but he never forgot it. Threats were something he didn't take lightly anymore. Chapter 10. The Menace returns. Mark changed his work shift, gained time, gained patience. For a month, he watched, learned routines, studied habits. One morning, he made his move. He tied up the Washingtons' neighbors, took their cash and drugs without anyone realizing it was him, and used Mr. Washington to clean up the scene, without leaving fingerprints. By the time the neighbors realized what happened, Mark was gone. Chapter 11. The Hit. Weeks later, Mr. Washington was leaving work when gunfire erupted. Over 50 shell casings littered the ground. He died at the scene. The shooters weren't the neighbors. They were people Mr. Washington had threatened weeks earlier. Chapter 12. Full circle. Mark sat at home watching the news. Damn, he said with a laugh. That's a hit. What'd that dude do? He turned off the TV and looked at Deshaun doing homework at the table. The past stayed buried. The future belonged to his son.